I'm not entirely sure how clear this is from my videos, but probably you're already aware. Definitely if you've had a conversation with me, you are aware of my tendency for hyperbole. It's one of those things that always makes me wish that more people could be around me and my siblings together. Like, I feel that that is helpful context. This is definitely a family trait. There was never really any hope for me to be any other way. Sometimes this gets me into trouble because I say things that I'm later obligated to take back and I feel real stupid. It's one of several reasons, actually. I talked about this in April VEDA, how I say things a lot and then I'm like, I didn't really mean the thing that I said. But the hyperbole thing is definitely a big factor in that. I said something to friends a few weeks ago about the number of countries that I'd been to, and I said over 30, and later realized, after this information had already been repeated as fact, that that is blatantly false. And I now look like a lying douchebag. The best part of this obnoxious habit, and the fact that it's a family trait, is that we've all become this little army of asshole fact checkers, and storytelling amongst us is a weirdly interactive activity. Like, had one of my siblings been present, they super definitely would have called bullshit. Even if I'd said the right number, they would have called bullshit just for the sake of it and to, like, argue with me. So sometimes when I'm not just pulling things out of my ass like that, I find myself playing the sort of fact checker role that one of my siblings would play if they were there with me. I'll pause in the middle of a story, the middle of a sentence in a story, for like a 90-second internal debate about whether an event in question took place on Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday because that was when I was wearing the floral shirt, but Wednesday is out to lunch and I brought my lunch that day, so it was probably Tuesday, except, oh no, right. So for Wednesday I brought my lunch, but then I ended up eating it for dinner, and by myself I just seem like I'm fucking crazy or weirdly obsessed with minutia that nobody cares about. But the thing is that the person who probably cares least about the minutia is me. Dealing with details is definitely a learned thing for me. Like, I recognize that it is important, and so I try to be cognizant of that. It's definitely not my default mode. It's a big part of why I invoke hyperbole so much. In my head, it really doesn't fucking matter if the number is 20 or 30 when all I'm trying to say is, like, a lot. But every now and then someone calls me out, and while I am dissolving into a pool of my own shame, I am reminded of how nice it can sometimes be to have my punk siblings running amok in my head. Sometimes.